Hello lovelies, I'm Christina and today we're in my bedroom. I'm in my kimono, we have some lights, and for those of you who've been around for a while, you know what that means. It's exploring erotica time. Now it's been a while since I've done one of these, but here is episode 3 finally, and I promise you, you will not have to wait as long as you did for this episode for the next one. I'm feeling super inspired, and especially by all of the wonderful recommendations you guys have sent my way, and I can't wait to explore more erotica for you. So let's just jump into it. I have 5 books here that I want to talk about. Let's do this. The first one is one that I actually read quite a few years ago and I had completely forgotten about it, and then I was just browsing through my bookshelves and I was like, hey, that's an erotica book. I read that. And it is Belle de Jour, a call girl's intimate confessions. This is a Norwegian edition of it, and I read this before I saw the TV show that was inspired by it, and I remember really enjoying this. I think I gave it a 4 stars. It was just a very interesting and new and unique insight to a life that is so completely different from my own. I just remember really enjoying this. I would love to actually reread this because, like I said, it's been many years. I remember loving the TV show as well. So I just want to mention this one quickly because I want to ask you guys if any one of you have read this more recently or remember it more vividly than I do and have some thoughts around it. Would it be worth the time to reread it now, or should I just move on to other books? Let me know in the comments down below. So the first book I want to mention is one that I read on my Kindle, and it is Amorous Woman by Donna George Storey. I'm just going to read you the synopsis. I have it here on my phone. The day I left Japan, I stared at my reflection in the mirror in the airport ladies' room and made the following vows. I would never tell another lie, especially to myself. I would never let desire overwhelm common sense. I would never sleep with a man who was married to someone else, mime fellatio with a complete stranger on a stage, or take money for sex again. In fact, to cover all bases, I would never have sex again with anyone, man or woman, for the rest of my life. For a sum much smaller than a plane ticket, an American woman can travel to a rustic hot spring inn where anything goes after midnight, don the gorgeous kimono of a Japanese bride, romp in the dungeons room of tacky love hotels, act out an orgy straight from manga porn, and slip inside Kyoto's most exclusive restaurants for exquisite dinners of seduction. The Amorous Woman experiences almost every flavor of erotic pleasure Japan has to offer, and she's happy to take you along for the ride. Inspired by Ihara Seikaku's 17th century satiric novel of the pleasure quarters, this story of an American woman's love affair with Japan and many sexy men and women along the way gives readers a chance to journey to a Japan few tourists ever see. I read this a good while ago, but this is still pretty fresh in my memory actually, and I really enjoyed it. It was super sexy and it had these really vivid explanations of places and sensations, and this woman is just experiencing it all and taking us along for the ride. I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. I ended up giving that 5 stars. Next up is one that I mentioned in the last episode of Exploring Erotica as one that I was looking forward to read, and that was Dark Lover, the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by G.R. Ward. I was recommended this one a lot, and once again, I gotta say, I really don't like these covers. They're so tacky. Ugh, why? I feel like this is such a cliche when it comes to erotica. Why do you have to make these really cliche, tacky covers? It's not necessary. And I don't want to take out this in the middle of my bus. No. I don't approve of the cover, but I do very much approve of what's between the covers. The only purebred vampire left on the planet and the leader of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, Wrath, has a score to settle with the slayers who killed his parents centuries ago. But when his most trusted fighter is killed, orphaning a half-bred daughter unaware of her heritage or her fate, Wrath must put down his dagger and usher the beautiful female into another world. Racked by a restlessness in her body that wasn't there before, Beth Randall is helpless against a dangerously sexy man who comes to her at night with shadows in his eyes. His tales of the Brotherhood and blood frighten her, yet his touch ignites a dawning new hunger, one that threatens to consume them both. This one was so good. Like I said, this series is one that I hoped to love as well as I feared to love, because I have no idea how many books there are, but there are plenty. So that's bittersweet. Like, it's a longer journey, one that I can enjoy for a long time, but still takes a longer time to get through. But I really enjoyed this. This is a very like fast-paced and thrilling read as well. It is very exciting and very edge of your seat kind of read, as well as it has this very grown-up look at vampires and these very hot and sexy erotic elements as well that I really enjoyed. So this was one that really blew my mind and I absolutely loved. And because I loved it so much, I have purchased the second book, which is Lover Eternal, with just as tacky of a cover. Thank you very much. And I hope to get to this very soon. I ended up giving Dark Lover 5 stars. Next up, I have a classic, and one by the same author that I mentioned the last time around, and that is Henry and June by Anais Nin. So when Anais Nin met the writer Henry Miller, a man she thought of as an intellectual giant, and his beautiful wife June Mansfield, her life was plunged into emotional and sexual turmoil. Her passionate involvement with both of them, which contrasted profoundly with her attachment to her husband Hugo, led to an inner conflict she was unable to resolve without help. Henry and June is the account taken from her diaries of this thrilling but impossible tangle of relationships and Anais Nin's personal and sexual awakening. I found this to be interesting but a bit slow paced. It is taken out of her diary, so it's more of her just sharing her thoughts around everything that happens. It's very interesting to see her, especially her thoughts around polyamory and wanting to share her love and her man and be able to love other people as well as her husband, and they're being very open about this, which I really appreciated in this, and is something that I miss in a lot of literature, because it's such a widespread phenomenon that is very important, I think, as opposed to all of the typical adultery sort of erotic fiction. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, but then again I found it to be a bit slow and boring at times, so it didn't really grab me, but I still enjoyed it, so I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. Now, the last book I have to talk about is one that I truly fell in love with. I was contacted by the author who asked if she could send me a copy of her little novella, and I accepted and got this beautiful little package with a lot of fun stuff. And not only was it a very enjoyable and fun package to open, but the story in itself is so exceptionally good as well. It is his. Lana never expected for her life to take the turn that it did. Being married with children, she had no business to have a wandering eye. But the day Donovan stood in front of her, she felt an instant connection, a longing desire. After many months, she finally lost herself in his world, discovering the woman she was always meant to be. Donovan from the beginning knew the outcome of the end, yet there was no stopping him from his Lana, his wildling. So this is a really cute little short but wonderful story, and even though I just mentioned that it was nice to see the adultery, cheating kind of story, this is a very different kind of story to that. Even though you have the married woman who is tempted into her world with Donovan, it's still something way deeper than that, and it's a kind of sexual awakening for her as well. This was just short, fantastic, so sexy and sweet. I really enjoyed this. I flew through it, and like I said, it's not that big of a book, but I would just highly recommend this as a short, steamy and fun break from other novels. It's an erotic pleasure that you will fly through. Absolutely loved this. I ended up giving his 5 stars. I just gotta say, KM Keeton, you rock, and thank you so much for sending this my way. This is definitely a new favorite of mine. So there you have it. Those are a few of the erotic novels that I've really loved over the last 2 years, I think it has been. Time has just flown by, and even though I never stopped exploring erotica, I just didn't get around to doing this. But I'm on a roll now. I'm really getting back into a good rhythm, and I have so many plans and so many erotic novels to get through, so I should probably get to bed and get into some more steamy books. There will be links to all of the books that I've mentioned down below. Let me know if you've read any of them or if you have any other recommendations. I'm always on the lookout for new recommendations in the erotica genre because I know there's so much good erotic literature out there, and it's being overshadowed by overhyped, not well-written books like the one that I've mentioned too many times that I'm not going to mention this time around. You know which one it is. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video soon. Goodbye!